All right, guys. Wanted to talk today about priorities and goals. So this is really for anyone who's struggled when it comes to behaviors related to nutrition and fitness and how they fit into the rest of your life. If we can take the perspective that health, fitness, nutrition, all that stuff isn't just in its own bubble, it affects everything else going on in our life. That's a huge step in helping then make sure that what we're doing related to nutrition, what we eat, what we're doing inside the gym is really serving the rest of our life, right? So we spend maybe 1 hour in a gym each day. If you were to average out over the course of a week, maybe it's 5, 6, possibly 7 hours of the week, but that's a small percentage. The rest of our life, we're outside the gym trying to enjoy other things. And this is this talk is intended to help you feel comfortable with what you're doing, confident with what you're doing, and really just feel fulfilled with it. So number one is I want to preface this by saying we don't have any judgment on what your goals are, on what your priorities are. This is your life. We're here to help you be happy, be fulfilled, feel accomplished. It's our job to help you get there. That's you. We're not here to tell you you have to do X or you have to look like this. We want you to feel healthy, be happy, and feel fulfilled. So with that said, drew a little thing up here. When your priorities align with your goals, you're happy, you're fulfilled, you feel accomplished. When your priorities and your goals don't align, then a little sad face there, a few tears, frustrated and stressed, and you feel like stuck in a rut. So we'll talk about priorities in a moment and how to determine what those are. Your priorities, they're not excuses, all right? So if you're like, well, I couldn't make it to the gym because I was spending time with my kids, or I was really busy this week with work, don't see it as an excuse. Don't shape your mind in a negative way. Our behaviors, our actions, those are what are our priorities. So if we spend a lot of time at work, if you're career oriented, again, there's no judgment there. There's no call on that. If you love spending time with your kids, watching your kids at their games or at practice, that's great. It's just then being able to align those priorities with what your personal goals are when it comes to, let's say, fitness or nutrition. So I drew an example up here of a goal that and a priority where there's misalignment, and then maybe where some opportunities are for realignment. So let's take someone who says, my kids are a priority, I'm too busy with work, or I'm busy with work, and I like going out on Friday nights. And they come in, or you come in, whoever you may be, and your goal is to lose 20 pounds. You might find by meeting with myself or Kevin or Jeff or Nicole that there's a little bit of misalignment with the goals and what your actions are. So again, these are your priorities and your actions are the same. So in order to make sure that you feel happy, you feel happy with the track you're on, your expectations are in alignment with the outcome, we might need to realign the goal, or we might need to realign or compromise on one of those behaviors. So maybe your realignment number one is the goal. Maybe you say, instead of wanting to lose 20 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds, and I'm okay with that because I can still spend time at work, or I can miss the gym here or there to spend more time with my kids. And that this fitness and nutrition side of things is enhancing your priorities. It's not pulling you away from it, because once it starts to feel like a job, it starts to compete with what your priorities are. That's where we run into problems. That's where we become deterred. That's where we get frustrated. That's where we get stressed. But if we can see it as a way of, okay, this is going to enhance those priorities, I'm going to be able to, act as a good influence for my kids. I'm still going to be able to lose some of the weight I was looking for, so I feel good about myself. But I didn't have to compromise on something else. Another realignment might be the behavior, for example, or your priority. You might say, you know what? I'm going to spend a little less time with my kids so that I can meal prep and set a great example for them. So maybe you're not completely giving it up. It's still a top priority, but when push comes to shove, you're taking an hour out of the day that maybe you would have spent playing with your kids and putting into the meal prep because you feel like, look, I want to set a good example, and this is important for them. Now, lastly, if you're sitting there and wondering, well, I don't really necessarily know what my exact priorities are or what the list is, here's a few questions you can ask yourself, because again, behaviors and priorities are one and the same. So question number one, how do you spend your time? Where's your time spent? Other than sleeping, if you were to look at how you allocate your time, what does it go to? What are you doing when you feel most energized and alive? So, if something feels like a burden, usually it's not a priority, it just feels like it's something we have to do. But if you're looking forward to it, time flies by when you're doing it, there's a good chance that sits as a priority in your life. Where are you most organized? So if we're looking to feel achieved or accomplished in something, we tend to be really prepped for it, really prepared, really organized. What engages and captures your attention most? Again, if we find something to be something that we love, something that we like, something that is really interesting to us, we're going to be focused on it. We're going to want to learn more about it. And last, what do you love talking to other people about? So in your free time, or if you're floating in space, or if you're here in the gym, what are you engaging people in conversation about? What does that look like? Is it your children? Is it how they're doing? Is it how your business is growing? Is it how you're doing in school? And what you're saying there is really just is telling people, these are my priorities. If you find that, and I would recommend listing out 2 or 3 of the top answers to each of these. If you find that one thing appears the most common, it's the most frequent, let's just say you write essentially something related to your children for all of these, and that's the most common one, well, your kids are your number one priority, because that's where your behavior lies. So that's a little overview of priorities and goals, and trying to really align your priorities with your goals, or your goals with your priorities, vice versa, so that we feel comfortable and confident that what we're doing in the gym and related to our nutrition is enhancing those priorities. It's not pulling us away from them.